Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Days Podcast along with a new video. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for viewing along with listening. I truly appreciate it. I have been talking about a series of artists, and I want to be able to get back into a few of them and talk about more of their releases. I did talk about a movie too. Check that out. Well, the movie is Poetic Justice, so yes, check out that video or listen to it, however you decide. And we will be doing more. And trust and believe, yes, I do have a Patreon video coming. I will be posting it very soon. I've been making sure that there's a series of them that I can be able to just kind of give you guys back to back. So just be ready for that. But yes, let's get into what we are going to be talking about today. We are talking about Ciara's The Evolution. So this is called Ciara The Evolution, often simply known as The Evolution. So this is pretty much just her sophomore album where she's taking herself a step further. And yeah, let's get into it. Second studio album by Ciara, released on December 5th, 2006 by LaFace Records. We just recently talked about LaFace Records with Tony, so I have talked about Tony Braxton's first album. Be sure to check it out. Yeah, there's different record companies that over time worked with different artists that we know and love, and you know, it kind of peers onto, you know, who is attached to who and who is label mates and was label mates with who. Let's continue. The album is separated into 5 sections, with each showcasing a different side of Ciara's artistry. The first features crunk R&B and up-tempo records, which mainly deal with feminine independence, while its successor, entitled The Evolution of Music, features ballads dealing with the positives and the struggles of love. The Evolution of Dance features dance tracks. The Evolution of Fashion deals with self-expression, while the last, entitled The Evolution of C, features tracks that discuss how Ciara has evolved as a person since the start of her career. So, this is the thing about The Evolution that I'm still learning about with this album, that I did not know was broken down into 5 parts. Like, it literally is Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, Act 5, like in one album. I did not know that. Because, you know, I when I first heard Get Up, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, but I didn't know it was part of a collective within one. Okay, so you know, you learn something new. The album was seen as a coming-of-age project for the singer, as it features songs with more substance than her last effort. It deals with Ciara's experiences after being in the public eye for 2 years prior to the album's release. The tracks are also said to be geared toward a more urban audience. Ciara was the executive producer of the album and enlisted production with Antoine Collins, Brian Kennedy, Brian Michael Cox, Calvo de Great, Dallas Austin, Jazzy Faye, Kendrick Dean, Little John, Mr. Kyle Park, the Neptunes, which is, I believe, considered to be a duo between Pharrell and Chad Hugo. So Pharrell's on here, you know, Paula Didon, Rodney Jerkins, The Clutch, will.i.am, among others, and featured guest appearances from 50 Cent and Camille. Ciara also co-wrote and co-produces most of the songs. So she was heavily in this in the studio, you know, making sure, you know, this is how I want things. However, which I will say before I continue with this commentary, there were a lot of releases in 2006. So with her release being, you know, very late to 2006, there was so much people was consuming. So they were just as eager to hear her by the end of the year as they were to hear all of what was going on in 2006. But I will say, like, there was a lot of what was, you know, to be expected coming into these years. With music, there was a lot of new artists emerging in all genres. So, the album received mixed to positive reviews from most music critics. Generally, critics praised Ciara's increased vocal ability in the album's lyricism, but criticized its frequent interludes and the latter half of the album. The Evolution became Ciara's first and only #1 album in the US. Oh. It was certified platinum by the Recording Academy with 5 weeks of its release and has sold 1.3 million copies in the US. It also achieved moderate success in international markets, reaching the top 40 in most of the countries it was released in. The evolution spawned 4 commercial singles, including Get Up, which reached the top 10 in the US and in New Zealand. The next single, Promise, which reached number 1 on the US R&B charts and number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. The third single, Like a Boy, peaked within the top 10 in most of the countries it was released in and reached the top 20 in the US. The final single, Can't Leave 'Em Alone, achieved moderate success. To promote the album, Ciara embarked on her debut concert tour, the Evolution Tour, in October 2006. She was also one of the opening acts for Rihanna's Good Girl Gone Bad for the next year. So she was able to be around Rihanna and another artist at that time too, and touring by October 2006, where the album's releasing literally within months. It's like, okay, they don't know what they're getting at, you know. But yeah, Ciara said the album's title is about so much more than just my personal growth. It's about the evolution of music, the evolution of dance, the evolution of fashion. And she wanted to do something different. There were music videos as well. And yeah, let's get into the track list. I mean, as far as mixed to positive reviews, the album holds a score of 65 out of 100, indicating generally favorable reviews. Rolling Stone said Ciara is still prone to diva blandness and silly little pop songs, but this time she's more interested. She's more interesting. Sorry guys. But this time she's more interesting by half. And this is the thing when it comes to critics. So Billboard, on the other hand, gave a mixed review and said songs such as the Rodney Jerkins produced Make It Last Forever and Get Up, produced by Jazzy Faye and also featured on the album on the film soundtrack to Step Up, are surefire club hits, although such ballads as It's Over tend to fall flat. They started to really be critical more on the women in the 2000s as opposed to the 90s. In the 90s, they said what they were saying back then, but they started to get a little bit more critical because the sales were not coming in as much all around because everybody started downloading and the streaming had to come in because, things had to get regulated somehow. But yes, selling over 338,000 copies in its first week, debuted at number 1 on both U.S. Billboard and U.S. Top R&B Hip Hop charts. 5 weeks later, on January 11, 2007, the album was certified platinum, selling over 1 million copies in the U.S. By October 2007, the album sold over 2 million copies worldwide. As of June 2010, it sold over 1.3 million copies. And yes. So let's go into the track list. So the first song is That's Right with Lil Jon. The second song is Like a Boy. And I feel like, Like a Boy, that was her wanting people to understand, take me seriously. The men can just come out here and just go off and dance and sing, but I can be taken seriously. This was just her stance on that. And not even just that, and even down to just a relationship. Just you out here and you making it seem like, we together and we doing things, but ain't nobody toys around here. And I ain't treating you like a toy, and I am not no toy. And she said, would you like friends? Never call. Nah, you wouldn't like that. No. She was serious, and she was going through it. The Evolution of Music interlude, Promise, though that was track 3 and Promise is track 4. And Promise is a good song. It's a good song. And then you have 5, which is I Proceed. Track 6 is Can't Leave 'Em Alone, featuring 50 Cent. Track 7 is Crush. Track 8 is My Love. Track 9 is The Evolution of Dance Interlude. Track 10 is Make It Last Forever. Track 11 is Bang It Up. And then track 12 is Get Up with Chameleon. Track 13, The Evolution of Fashion. Track 14, Get In, Fit In. Track 15, The Evolution of CC Interlude. Track 16, So Hard. I think So Hard is probably one of her most underrated songs. I really love that song. And then I'm Just Me, 17, that's another good song too. Seeing that Pharrell is part of it. And then track 18, I Found Myself. And then there's the bonus track. So in Japan, they got Love You Better for track 19. And then US Target International bonus track edition. There's track 19 being Addicted and track 20 being Promise. But it's a mix that she had with R. Kelly. Track 21, which is Do It featuring will.i.am, which was an international iTunes store bonus track. And then international digital bonus track, Like a Boy, Cardinal Beats remix. So pretty much she wanted to make sure there was a mixture of different things to show that she could be able to do it, and why not? And she did a great job. To debut at #1, that's an accomplishment. Even if it's the only one, it really is an accomplishment. And yeah, enjoy the album, stream the album. It's a good album, and it just lets you know more about Ciara, because she's done more from here. She's been in the game for 20 years now, more than. So definitely get into more of her music. But yes, guys, that's the end of our episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with more.